on the run.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Oh, yeah. The first thing out the box. I'm bald. I'm not bald.
Well, I was headbanging there.
One of these things doesn't look like the other. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm Jason.
You know, Bic will change that real quick.
Deacon, and we are your internet dads. We meet here Monday through Friday to talk a bunch of trash about a bunch of people that will
turn your volume up. Your microphone.
My mic's slow. Hold on. Is it on the right mic? It is on the right mic. Oh no, it's at 64%. How about would you like 80%? 88%? Is that good?
A lot better.
Good morning, folks. For those of you who don't know, rumble.com offers this great streaming studio tool, but they do like to change everything and make stuff not work in between shows so that you have no idea whenever you start the show what's going to happen. So that's what we're at with this morning.
That's what I heard.
So, yeehaw, boys. I know what y'all did yesterday.
Do you have no idea what I did yesterday?
Yeah, you did. You watched the Daytona 500 get rained out for a little while, baby. I know what you did last night.
I didn't even know yesterday was the Daytona 500.
None of y'all watched it?
I have no redneck credentials. I did see the president do a lap in the Beast, and I was like, that is cool. Those people are going to think that's awesome.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And then I went on to watch Paddington in Peru with my kids.
Yeah, I saw y'all did that.
Make me moderator real quick. I've got you some video of old Trumpy Poo down at the Daytona 500 yesterday.
I got some video of him doing a lap.
Yeah, if you've got the video of him doing a lap, show that because I can't find that video, but I got lots of others.
Yeah. This is the Daytona 500 NASCAR. Whoever owns that, please don't violate our what is it called? Copyright? Don't copyright strike us. We're doing the news.
It's time. Warmed up. I know. I can't wait. And Donald Trump taking some hot laps. We expect to talk to the president. And a little later, Morgan Freeman. We'll hear from him live.
Oh, yeah. We'll get struck for having this on here.
Have fun.
Absolutely.
Yep. Now, check this out. This is for, did you have this?
This is not this one, no.
Oh, we're not playing
That's awesome.
That is. That is how you roll, man. If you have the opportunity to do a lap on the Daytona 500 with your grandkids in the car, that is how you do it.
In a car that could literally be shot by a missile and probably not do very much damage to it, you know?
That is awesome. And she's not going to remember that, but it's so cool.
President, I'm a big fan. I am a really big fan of you people that you do this. I don't know, but I just want you to be safe. You're talented people, and you're great people, and great America.
Whatever that radio is, doesn't sound good. Okay, what do you have, Deke? What did you see?
Hang on here. The United States presidential state car, nicknamed the Beast, Cadillac One, first car, Stagecoach.
Cadillac One.
Yeah, I like Stagecoach there, man.
Stagecoach.
That's pretty awesome.
That is rad, actually.
Let's see.
Taft. I'll be right back.
The first serving president to ride in the car was McKinley. Taft, Wilson, Roosevelt. Hang on, I was trying to look to see what it was. Like what it talks about. I'm sure it's not going to tell you everything. Oh, okay. In 2000, the car had more than 5 inches of bulletproof glass in the previous model, run flat tires, an interior that was completely sealed to protect the occupants in the event of a chemical attack. The 2009 presidential state car model had night vision optic, a tear gas cannon, onboard oxygen tanks, an armored fuel tank filled with foam to prevent explosion, and pump action shotguns. Whether it was armed or not with rocket-propelled grenades, they don't know. The car featured 8-inch thick doors. That was
8-inch.
A long-ass time ago. In 2013, the presidential state car was outfitted with a license plate that read "taxation without representation" in reference to the blah, blah, blah.
What? Wait, taxation without representation?
That. No taxation.
In reference to the district's
that was
lack of representation in the U.S. in the United States Congress. Switch came after the DC City Council petitioned President Obama to blah, 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 blah.
So that's cool. The president is more culturally in touch with his people.
This is cool. In the late 20th century, this is all from Wikipedia, by the way, it was customary for the United States Secret Service to participate in the destruction of the presidential state car after it had run its course. The federal agents used bullets and explosive rounds for two purposes. The first is to demonstrate the automobile's effectiveness against such weaponry, while the second is to shred the vehicle and destroy the secrets of its manufacture, armor, and defensive abilities. And really, it's to see how much it can take. You know?
Yeah, but I mean, like, you find out, like, after you've used it, how tough it is.
I mean, you would do that. If they offered you a chance, dude, you're going to get to shoot grenades at the presidential vehicle.
Yeah, of course I would. Absolutely. Yes, I would shoot at a vehicle if they were like, it's downrange. What are you going to do? Oh, okay, let's go. Of course you would.
Have you ever shot at a vehicle, JJ?
I think so, but I honestly can't remember. Yeah, I've definitely beat on one with a sledgehammer.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I beat on one with a sledgehammer in one of those little fundraising things at a fair or something like that, where you get to beat on the old car. I've done that once.
So if you all were to take the panels off of your doors in your cars, you can add 2 phone books, like 2 thickness, and then put those panels back on, and you now have basic bulletproofing.
Can you still roll down your windows?
No.
Where do you get phone books now?
We got a couple in here. I'll send you.
I don't know. You don't want Deke's phone book.
That, JJ, in case you probably don't know, this man right here is Richard Petty. Do you know that name? Yeah.
I recognize his hat.
Yeah, that's Richard Petty. NASCAR legend.
Wow.
So
Dynaco superstar.
All right. I think we're not really very qualified to speak too much about Daytona 500, other than it was cool.
No. Yeah.
That was cool that the Beast went around the lap. And Air Force One buzzed the audience. They flew over at 800 feet. So.
You want to see what he says here? I haven't heard this.
Sure.
Let's look at it.
Well, I'm joined now by the President of the United States. Mr. President, 5 years ago, we were standing in this very spot. What brings you back to the great American race?
Well, I think it's fantastic. It's great for the country. Our country is doing well again, and we have spirit all over the world. There's spirit again. We brought it back, and it's been less than 4 weeks. So you'll see what we do in a little period of time. It's going to only get better, but this is very exciting.
You brought your granddaughter. I know some of your other family members are here. You get to take a ride around in the Beast. What is that like?
I'll let you know in about 2 minutes because they're going to be going quite quickly, I understand.
You just got to meet some of the drivers.
Okay, she's just talking some bull crap. I think it's interesting that he autographs the hats because they give them out.
Oh, yeah.
That's why he autographs them.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Do Good says you don't want the windows down if you want a bulletproof car. Yeah, okay, but like, have you ever seen that clip from what's that show? Do you know that show I'm talking about where the guy makes like a bulletproof car for these cartel guys and then he locks them in and cooks them alive? Have you not seen this clip? I'm going to show you this.
I know that. Why do I know that? Is that from a movie?
It's not
from Breaking Bad. I don't know. I never watched it.
No, I don't think it's from Breaking Bad.
In the phone book thing, I'm just saying do not try that and expect actual bulletproofing. I cannot confirm the effectiveness of such a thing.
What is that? What is that show?
Just covering my bases here.
Getting all kinds of bulletproof car scenes, but none of them are the one I'm expecting.
Yeah, not thick enough. You need a real yellow.
These aren't. Yeah.
No.
It might stop at 22.
No, this is for West. This is a Yellow Pages for Western Kentucky. If you had a Yellow Pages for like Houston,
Western Kentucky, like
yeah, that one will stop a bullet.
Yeah. St. Louis, Chicago, New York.
This is 2012. No, that says please recycle after 2012. Yeah, 2011, 2010. It's really sad that was 15 years ago.
Miss phone books.
Would that make your stomach hurt? What were you looking for, JJ?
I was
He's
looking for that
looking for
armored car
Cooking
scene, but
Cartel.
I can't find it. It's fine. Nobody cares. Okay.
I just got a couple of stories here that we can
Sure.
talk about. I don't want to play the video because the video is like 6 or 7 minutes long, each one of them, but we can talk about it a little bit. RFK was sworn in. What was it, like 52 to 48, something like that?
Okay.
And it really was. I mean, as a history person, we are living through some parts of history that they will be talking about and studying in the future. Okay, you need to know that what we're living right now is very, like we talk about the Roman Empire 3,000 years later and whatnot. They're going to be talking about this for a long time, what we're going through.
Right.
It will be a chapter in future history books, promise you. During RFK Jr.'s swearing in ceremony, MSNBC showed the video, but they muted it and talked to a doctor that basically badmouthed RFK Jr. the whole time while they were showing this swearing in video.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what this girl sits here and takes 7 minutes to explain. Bill O'Reilly says that there's going to be a nice little smackdown on Letitia James and Alvin Bragg.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
He bet on the wrong horse. They bet on the wrong horse.
Yeah. It doesn't.
And they rode that thing past the finish line, and I don't know what you expect.
What did Joe Rogan say? You just skipped right past that one.
Well, he was just talking about how they will relentlessly hunt down the swamp creatures and weaponized government agencies, and he just had a conversation about what's going on.
Is that now,
autistic people.
I have a
in charge
legitimate
of
question here.
Hold
Okay.
on, no. Before you say that, I just want to say this. You guys know how in mythology, if you're face to face with a vampire, and you're like, oh my God. And then you just dump some toothpicks on the ground or rocks or whatever. And then they have to stop and count all of the toothpicks. Yeah. So that's what we have in Doge right now. They are going to count everything. And the thing is super fast.
That's what I want.
So
I mean,
this is
some
my
of our
question.
high functioning autistic people need jobs.
Yes.
And they're better at that crap than we are.
Yeah.
This is my legitimate question. Is this not a type of weaponized government
Absolutely.
now?
What are you talking about? Cleaning out the government?
But JJ's right too.
It's the manner in which
it's only weaponized. It only in my opinion, it only appears weaponized because it had already been weaponized against us, and now we're having to clean house. So we're having to, in essence, what it says in the Bible, it's wear your sword, but take it out when you need to. And right now we're having to take out the sword and cut a bunch of crap up. And then eventually we're going to put the sword back up, whereas they never put the sword back up.
Let me paint a different picture. How about this? If you get shot and then it gets infected and you have gangrene.
No, I get it.
You have to cut that stuff completely out or else you die. That's what we're dealing with. We are dealing with a surgeon being like
any of it. I'm not
saying
gangrene
that's not weaponization. That is this is corrupted
so change
rot.
the word.
What do you mean change the word? Change which word?
No, I know what you're saying, Dave. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how to make it. I don't know how to.
JJ said it perfect. I mean, it's it's not a weaponization. It's a surgical procedure.
The government agencies have been weaponized. So Joe Rogan, it says Elon Musk and Doge will hunt down the swamp creatures and the weaponized agencies.
But hunt down is weaponization talk.
You got to do it because
because they're hiding. They are trying to hide.
I get it. I 100% get it. But dude,
What do you want? What do you?
You don't like the word.
use
would-
use different language. If you want to
Would
say
you like
that X
a
is bad,
monocle and the sniff
No.
out?
no,
They're gonna
no,
sniff.
no, that's not what I'm saying
I
at
see
all.
what Dave's saying.
If you're going to say X is bad, not Twitter, so we'll
Then-
say if you're going to say A is bad, A is always bad.
Then you
don't say
can't
you're gonna
use A
use
when describing
A
what
to
you're
attack
doing.
A. Use
Yeah.
B. Use something completely
Yeah,
different.
yeah,
Use
you-
different language
When you
because
can,
it sounds
you're right.
ridiculous.
You're
don't-
right. I agree
I
with
agree
that.
with you in this.
I'm not gonna police the language of Joe Rogan. He can use whatever language he wants. He
It's
can
not
say
just
we're
Joe
gonna beat the swamp creatures out with a baseball bat, or Joe Rogan is gonna metaphorically kick them like he does those boxing bags. I don't care about the word hunt down. Look, the fact is we don't even have a public consensus. Like, I mean, we kind of do now, but up until the last year, we didn't even have a public consensus.
I am still waiting on receipts, by the way.
Dugan says that his coffee mug
Doge.gov.
says it can stop a bullet, or at least they advertise it that way. Man, I never thought about a bulletproof coffee mug. Sorry, I derailed the entire conversation.
Yeah. Well, it's okay.
Wow, I didn't mean to do that.
Savings.
RFK
Yeah,
Jr. Go ahead.
They did let us down with the Doge.gov savings. It did not come out before Valentine's Day. They're working on it, I think.
And they said the weekend, and the weekend's passed. Come on.
Yeah. Okay.
Give me something.
All right.
Please.
Please.
Go ahead.
No, I said please. Please continue.
RFK Jr. has announced on Fox News that he announced a vaccine injury reporting system that works in an effort to overhaul or completely replace the flawed vaccine adverse event reporting system that they have. So that's other big Kennedy news that he's doing. Do you guys know this lady?
She's your new press secretary, right?
Yeah. Carolyn Levitt. Oh, hang on.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, wait, where'd JJ go?
Oh, he disappeared.
He's still here, but he's not.
Oh, is he? Oh, he might have had to dip out or something. Let's see. There is this, they're letting all these different types of reporters into the White House now. And Real America's Voice White House reporter Brian Glenn asked White House Press Secretary Carolyn Levitt about the trillions in fraudulent Medicare and Medicaid payments that have been going overseas. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene held her Doge subcommittee hearing earlier in the day and announced the group's findings. The subcommittee has found $2.7 trillion with a T in improper and fraudulent government payments since forming their subcommittee. This number came from a report late last year on government waste. According to News Nation, the federal government spent $2.7 trillion
Late last when? Late last when?
Year.
Who was president last year?
Mm-hmm.
This report came out under him. Like his group found it.
This number came from a report late last year on government waste.
Okay.
According to News Nation, the federal government spent $2.7 trillion in payment errors since 2003. The number was discovered last year before Doge launched an in-depth investigation into government waste. On Wednesday, Brian Glenn asked Carolyn Levitt about the shocking amount of fraud that the government investigators already discovered. She said, well, again, that's another example. There is a very long list of fraud, waste, and abuse that Doge is identifying on a daily basis. Elon Musk also talked yesterday about Social Security payments that are going out the door for people who are no longer with us, unfortunately. I would say that this is certainly fraud. There's also a lot of contracts that have been identified just as a hypothetical example. Are $1 million been only 500,000 went out the door? So where's the rest of that cash? And so that's the thing. There are things that Doge is working on every single day, and I would just remind everybody in this room that President Trump campaigned on doing. He's delivering a promise to 77 million people. There you go. Was that on the screen or not? That probably
Yeah,
wasn't.
it's on the screen.
Oh, okay.
Well, the image of her is.
According to Representative Luna, Anna Paulina Luna, she says that the government's fixing to drop a bunch of knowledge on JFK and RFK and MLK and any other thing that was 3 letters and all kinds of stuff. The View ladies are saying that because RFK was elected, that America's going to get sick and we're all going to die. Let's see. They're unmasking government organizations. Dave, Kentucky has become the 9th U.S. state with legislative efforts to ban mRNA injections. Did you hear that?
Interesting. I did not.
I didn't either. I'm going to have to look up more on this.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't have it doesn't have an article. It has a freaking video.
You might see it on Vigilant News. Let me see. Let me go over to his web app.
I can probably just check that out and find it.
Yeah, why don't y'all do that?
Let's see.
This guy's
just really active with the news.
Well, I've got some stuff for you here. This is from the focalpoints.com if you want it. It's the House bill.
Okay.
Kentucky, Montana, and Idaho among the states that are trying to ban the mRNA vaccine. This story was by Dr. Michael Navardakis. He says the bill was introduced.
Has to do with gene therapy products, which includes immunizations, vaccine, any type of gene therapy.
Testimony for
genetic disorders. Sorry.
No, I didn't mean to hit that. It hit on accident. Go ahead.
Do you have any opinion about that? Don't you think that we should have the right to monkey with genetics in our DNA and let our descendants and their descendants, figure out how good a job we did?
I think if I answer that truthfully, YouTube will kick us off the air.
I don't know where
I speak from experience.
We're probably like 95% good, right? So
I mean, if you have the chance to save somebody of some chronic disease before they're born, would you do it?
I
mean, it gets really dodgy. I don't know.
What if you do that, but you also the byproduct of you saved them from Crohn's disease, but they now have an IQ of 84,
or like you had to kill somebody else in order to get this.
5 people or 1 person.
You reminded me of a funny little skit. I'm gonna find that.
So do you guys? Dave is in Kentucky with me, and JJ lives in the great state of Texas. Do you guys remember that we have a state way, way up there called Maine?
Oh yeah,
frozen land of ice and Vikings,
for sure.
And Romanians. There has been a surge in Romanian illegal immigrants crossing from Canada into Maine, according to the vigilantnews.com. Bless you. In recent years, many of those caught illegally crossing into the state by the Holston sector agents have been from Romania. Although Romanians accounted for less than 1% of nationwide border encounters last year, they make up a growing share of Maine's. According to CBP data, Romanian encounters in the sector rose from 4% in the 23 fiscal year to 12% last year, and now stands at 13%. So there you go, friends.
Are you saying there's a bunch of gypsies in what's up, Schnaga?
I'm not.
You saying a bunch of gypsies live there?
I'm not saying anything, man.
You gotta turn on the live chat panel or look at your own screen.
Stephen King lives in Maine. That's right.
He does.
Does he really?
His gate.
All of his books
and makes a spider.
All of his books are set in Maine. Have you ever noticed that?
Spider? Yeah. Derry, Maine.
All of them.
I had a friend of mine who his aunt lived next door to Stephen King. And
Stephen King's a
he
crazy
told me
man.
about the gate. Yes.
Stephen King's a perfect example of how, I mean, a lot of those writers throughout history were like that. When they were alcoholics, they did their best work. And when they sobered up, their work suffered. Isn't that weird?
I remember a anecdote about Stephen King. Like, he was on like a coke bender and he come out of it and like the Dark Tower was done.
That makes a lot of sense now.
I don't remember which book it was, but it was one of those.
Another big story, Senator Rand Paul is calling for an audit on Fort Knox, since we're talking about Kentucky so much. He wants to ensure that the 4,580 tons of U.S. gold is still there. America's wealth, the largest fortune in the history of the world, this is what they tell. I don't know if I want to read all this because I don't know if it's true or not. This comes from Wall Street Apes. He says, here's what they never told you about the gold at Fort Knox. America's wealth, the largest fortune in the history of the world, was stolen, the Fort Knox gold robbery. The article was written connecting the Rockefeller family and the Federal Reserve. 3 days later, the source was thrown out a window to her death. So there's a long, I don't know. I don't want to fall out of the window here. Dude, that's a very common story about somebody trying to uncover something and then they fall out of a window or they get killed by a car.
I think is the word.
Huh?
They defenestrate. I think that's the technical term. I could be wrong.
I can read this. We got a little bit of time.
Go ahead.
Just so, how did the story of the Fort Knox gold robbery get out? It all started with an article in the New York periodical in 1974. The article charged that the Rockefeller family was manipulating the Federal Reserve to sell off the Fort Knox gold at a bargain basement prices to anonymous European speculators. 3 days later, the anonymous source of the story, Louise Boyer, mysteriously fell to her death from a window of her 10th floor apartment in New York. How would Mrs. Boyer have known of the Rockefeller connection to the Fort Knox gold heist? She was the longtime secretary of Nelson Rockefeller. For the next 14 years, this man, Ed Durrell, a wealthy Ohio industrialist, devoted himself to a quest for the truth concerning Fort Knox gold. He wrote thousands of letters to over 1,000 government and banking officials trying to find out how much gold was really left and where the rest of it had gone. Edith Roosevelt, the granddaughter of President Teddy Roosevelt, questioned the actions of the government in 1975 edition of the New Hampshire Sunday News. Unfortunately, Ed Durrell never did accomplish his primary goal, a full audit of the gold reserves in Fort Knox. It's incredible that the world's greatest treasure has had little accounting or auditing. This gold belonged to the American people, not the Federal Reserve and their foreign owners. One thing is for certain, the government could blow off all of this speculation away in just a few days with a well-publicized audit under the searing lights of media cameras. It has chosen not to do so. One must conclude that they're afraid of the truth. And then it goes in talking about President Reagan and all this stuff about Fort Knox. As somebody that's lived in Kentucky his whole life, I've always heard that rumor that there's not gold in Fort Knox.
Dude, I'm 15, 20 minutes from Fort Knox.
Hold on just a second.
I pass it all the time.
Oh, I thought he was going to make a joke. Yeah, I've always heard that rumor that there's no gold in Fort Knox. And, they took cameras in there a long time ago, but there was so many questions after they showed that.
Well, they're not going to film like hey, let's go into the gold vault because they're not going to show everybody the pathway you would follow or whatever any of that stuff is. And they're not even going to show you video inside because they don't want people to know.
Right.
If you don't think gold's there, then what are you not going to rob?
So I heard over the last week or so, because of some of the policy changes of the Trump administration and that we are in the process of repatriating gold assets. So a lot of U.S. gold is not in the U.S. It's all around the world. I don't know if that's in banks or what it's doing in all these different places, but there has been like some scuttlebutt that shipments of gold are being packed up around the country and being returned to the United States of America because probably of like an impending like collapse of the dollar. I don't know what they're doing.
Would you like a useless gold fact?
Yes.
Here, this is a story. Traders are scrambling to fly gold bullion across the Atlantic. Gold is being flown from London to New York in unusually high volumes. Gold held in the UK's central bank has been trading at a discount due to tariffs. Oh, it's because of tariffs. The metal has been trading at record highs, about $2,900 per ounce of gold. Significant amounts of gold are being taken out of the UK's central bank, flown to the US. Uncertainty means gold held at the Bank of England has been trading at a discount to the wider market. Some think Trump could impose tariffs on raw materials coming into the U.S., including gold, and that's why they're doing it. They think that he might put tariffs on raw materials, and they want to get it in the country before the tariffs go into place.
Now, would you like a fun fact on gold?
Fort Knox may be mostly empty.
A single gold brick can be flattened out to cover an entire tennis court.
Really?
That's some malleable metal.
I think you can actually hammer it down to nearly an atom thick. Like you can hammer it like super flat.
I wouldn't be surprised. You can eat it.
Yeah.
All right, I got you boys a clip here. I'm not even going to introduce this clip.
All right.
I'm just going to let you watch it.
On the bringing people together part. I mean, you have a song called My Kind of Country. My kind of country has room for Trump and a JFK. That's the first line, right?
Had I known, it would have said RFK.
Is that the last Democrat you liked?
No, I mean, my whole business is Democrats. I mean, so to speak. Not my whole business. You know, I live in Nashville now, but that's the world I've operated for years and years. I mean, half my band's, you know, liberal,
right,
or gay, or black, or this. Like, you know, it's like, we have one of the most diverse bands out there, not because of any of this DI shit, just because they're the best at what they do, and we all love each other and get along.
Right, and I mean, you played the inauguration. Didn't Nelly and Snoop play that too?
Yeah, I believe they did. But remember, I also played Barack Obama's inauguration.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
I didn't vote for him. I played for him at the Kennedy Center. You know, this, that, and the other. I'm like, everybody's just got to calm the fuck down a little bit. You know what I mean?
Wise words from Kid Rock.
A sentence I never thought I would hear.
Exactly. All right, I got one more story. I think y'all are going to like this one. This one's a little puzzling. All right. I'm just going to show you the video, and then we can discuss it. All right. All right. We're obviously in a cemetery. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's dead.
Whoa. What's going on over there?
So you can see that the three turkeys are circling a tombstone that says Harris.
There's no snow.
And so what I can't figure out is, I mean, Kamala Harris was the spokesperson for a lot of turkeys. And I'm wondering if they are trying to like bring her back, or is this a seance? Actually, if you want to know, the turkeys do like a follow the leader type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And these turkeys, they speculate the leader went over there and started going around, and then the leader started following the third one, thinking it was the leader. And now none of them know who the leader is, and they just keep following each other around this freaking tombstone.
Such an amazing metaphor.
And I don't think either of you right. I think you're both wrong. I think this is the Turkey 500.
That's gonna be the Turkey 500.
They couldn't get a good station on, so they wanted to reenact it.
So glad that you brought up Kamala Harris, though, because it's been a minute since we've heard from her, but she was at a Broadway show recently, and she delivered some inspiring words.
Oh, I'm sure she did.
my goodness.
You guys can use this, right?
You know, I don't get out much these days. And then, you know, but spirit's tired, but it cannot be defeated. Never let anybody defeat that. Because then what do we have left?
Look at this woman's
When we
face.
think about like these moments where we see things that are being taken, we see it as a, you know, nature abhors a vacuum. So where there's a vacancy, then let's fill it. And let's know that the reality is that the progress of our nation has always been about the expansion of rights, not the restriction of rights. We're seeing a U-turn right now. For those rights to be maintained, which means we have to be vigilant, and it's just the nature of it. It's this beautiful play and everything that we know he had to suppress so much. But he knew, and he took those risks. But we have to be clear-eyed.
Look at this guy's
And
face.
it doesn't mean we don't see the beauty in everything, right? These things all coexist. But I believe we fight for something, not against something.
Oh, yeah, that's wise words.
That's our optimism, right?
Yeah, right.
Bring back Kid Rock.
All right. With that,
So you know how a manipulator will talk to you and they will say phrases to get you to agree with them. And they'll say something the salesman will be like, blah, 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 right? Don't you agree? You know, they'll use those phrases. Don't you agree? Aren't you right? Kamala doesn't do that. She does. She's evolved that. And that's what I was laughing at, is because she will say a statement, blah, 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 blah. And then she'll give you that look. Like it's that. I mean, that's fucking obvious, right?
Leading you on. You don't want to be stupid for not agreeing, right?
Right. She doesn't say all these people. She gives you the look. And that's what I was like. She does it all the time, and she done it right then, and it just cracked me up, man. That's
oh my gosh.
Said I don't have moderator authority, do I?
You did.
Maybe I do. I just think Deke is manipulating JJ and I.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but you send it on the private channel. You got to send it on the all channel.
I'm
you
on
just
the all
told us
channel.
that women. No, you sent it on the private.
I don't have an option for it. I'm on all. There's
only Rumble Studios. Yeah.
I'm on all.
I don't know. Take it up with Rumble.
Sad.
It's not my fault.
I will.
Talk to the producer.
All right. Do we got anything else? I need to run my kids over to the gym. So I guess we need to. I'm just so glad that we had some inspiring words. Dee, can I ask you to just summarize what Vice President Harris kind of told us?
Yeah. Basically. I mean, if give or take.
All right. Let's see. There was a hilarious joke in here the other day, and I
thought I
shared
had
it with the kids.
Story. If for folks,
hey, I got President's Day jokes.
Oh my God, this is it right here. This is so good.
For folks that are not on our Discord server, I encourage you to go over to our Discord server. I posted a video, JJ. I know you didn't watch this, but this is a very interesting one. JJ won't watch the TikTok videos unless I'm like, watch this, or tell him to watch this one.
Well,
and you didn't watch this one, but this one was really interesting. This girl was talking to a Chat GPT, and she was like, you know, they say it's illegal to communicate with dolphins. Why is that? And Chat GPT is like, well, it was the Marine Act of whatever, blah, blah, blah. And she has an in-depth conversation on when this Marine Act was enacted. Was it before, after the CIA did all these studies on trying to communicate with dolphins, and it was after? And I mean, they get into a long conversation about AI is talking about the speculation on why you would not want to, you would pass a law that dolphins and whales and seals are the only animals that are anywhere in the world where it's forbidden to try to communicate with them. And it's a really,
why?
I had to look up the law. I don't know. Look up the law. And that's what she talks about in this video. So if you want to go to our
maybe
Discord server,
stop getting murdered by marine life law. Maybe that's what it is.
It's in the Deconspiracy Theories channel. So you can go over there. All right.
I haven't seen that. Deke,
Yes.
I read this joke this weekend and it cracked me up, and my wife looked at me like I was absolutely stupid. So here goes. I wear a stethoscope so that in a medical emergency, I can teach people a valuable lesson about making assumptions. I was driving and I told my kids that joke, and then I couldn't see because I was laughing so hard.
Oh, that's a good one, dude.
I know.
All right. I was irritating Ashley this weekend while I was sitting there on the computer, and she picked up the keyboard and she hit me in the head with it, and it really quirt.
All right.
I stole this one from Walter Matthau when he was on Johnny Carson. So this is an old one, and I'll clean it up for us. There were 3 men at a retirement home. The first guy, they're having breakfast. The first guy says, "Man, I really wish I could have a good number one. Not all the drips, not all the drabs, just a good number one, solid, steady streak."
Okay.
The second guy says, I wish I could have a good number 2. Not the strain, a little, I want a good, solid number 2. The third guy says, I got my own issues, but you know what? The number 1 ain't a problem. It's 7:30 on the dot. It is like the mighty Mississippi, just whoo. And he said, and as for the number 2, 7:35, 5 minutes later, it is like Mount Vesuvius. It just,
oh boy.
And I'm good. And so the first guy says, "Yeah, well, what's your problem? Because we can't do those." He said, "I sleep until 9 a.m. every day."
I thought you were going to say something like,
politicians and talking heads lying left and right. You can help us bring facts into the light. Don't let your daughter lose her next swim meet to a psychopath dude with